Just a quick one before we dive in. I've just opened up 2 brand new ways to work with me. If you're an established beauty professional who's ready to increase your revenue, either in your clinic or by moving into the online mentoring and educational space, you can join me for a 2-month container where we build and validate your first online offer or your next big move. Or if you're ready to go all in, there is a 7-month private mentorship where we build, launch and scale your new revenue stream together. If you're not sure which one's right for you, I'm offering a handful of free business clarity calls, quick and powerful to map out your fastest path and to see which container fits best. Just DM me the word revenue on Instagram or check the link in the show notes and email me. Let's get into the episode.
Welcome to the Beauty Build podcast with me, Zara King. As a coach for beauty pros, it is my mission to help you earn more, work less, and create an unstoppable mindset. This is the show where we explore all of that. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting your beauty business, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and join us on the journey. And for more, get yourself inside my private community, The Beauty Build on Facebook.
Hello my loves and welcome back to another episode. I'm really excited to have you here today. I'm doing a little bit of a woo-woo episode. I think that after I recorded the episode all about stacking habits and talking about The Magic by Rhonda Byrne, I wanted to do an episode about the fact that I wish I knew more about how to get what I want back in the day. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am where I am because of things that I've learned and things have gone in my favour and I've always been positive, but I do wish I knew more about it a few years back, let's just say. Now, if you're thinking that most people in business or most people that are successful get there because they're lucky, please have an open mind to what I'm about to talk to you about. Because I know this is woo-woo, I know it's crazy stuff, but it really does, in my experience, it really does work. And in that episode about the habits, I did mention that I have fallen in love with The Law of Attraction Changed My Life by Francesca Amber. It is such a good podcast, and I'm such a firm believer. If you've known me for many years, you'll have known that I've always been a firm believer in the law of attraction, or the law of vibration, like frequency. And what you put out, you get back. So what you give, you get. And so you will know that I've always been on that vibe, and that is her vibe, and that is what she does her podcast about, and it's massive. And yeah, it's like the number 1 law of attraction podcast, I believe, and it's just so good. Anyway, so when I did that episode and I started talking about that gratitude habit that I have, bear in mind that gratitude habit gets me what I want all the time. Just saying, it really does actually have its ways of working. But what if I said to you, what if getting what you want isn't about doing more? It's not about doing more work. It's actually about more sort of feeling into and being the person that you should be to be aligned to what you want. That is what I want to talk to you about today. And because I did that and started talking about it, I did think, let me go into it a bit more so that it becomes clearer as to how I see these things and because what I do is I will go into the membership one day, for example, and I will send them a voice note of stuff like this or strategies, tips and things. And some of these things are like huge shifters for people when I talk to them about it. And they're like, oh my God, I'm going to implement that. And it really helps. And they get a win and they're like, this happened to me. And I'm like, you see, you shifted your energy and that is what happened. My mum's a prime example. I'm always telling her things like this. And she'll do something like write a gratitude list for a negative situation. And she's like, oh my God, you know what happened? This whole thing flipped on its head and everything went really well. Anyway, you're probably thinking, Zara, how can I use this in my beauty business, right? Think about it in a way. Think about the things that I'm talking to you about in a way of, you've got your goals, right? You've got these goals for your beauty business or whatever services you offer. Okay, you have your goals. What about you get to those goals, but you get to them quicker because you change your energy state and because you are grateful. Okay, I've seen massive shifts, honestly, in my life and business when I have raised my frequency and raised my energy. And the number 1 thing that does it for me first is gratitude. Okay, so I wanted to get into it today, and that's what we're doing. So yeah, if you're not following me on Instagram, by the way, follow me on Instagram at Zara King, because I want to hear from you if you do this. If you're already a believer, let me know. If you're not, let me know. I want to know. So send me a message. But yeah, bit of a backstory for you on me being into this woo-woo stuff. I've always been like a positive person that would always write down positive quotes. I had one particular notebook that I think I had to end up like putting into a different one. But I'd like always hide it and stuff. It was my journal. It was sacred. I would always write things in it and plans. And it was like this place that the law of attraction would happen. This book was like manifestation book. I was doing, not meaningfully, but as a kid, I'm talking like when I was a teenager. I was a young teenager, by the way, and I was writing things in this book, and it was just like my little journal, and I absolutely loved it. And I'd put clippings in there, or I'd put quotes in there of things, and it was all positive, and it was all good. And it would be to-do lists and habits as well. And I've always been that way. I just want you to know, like, backstory, I've always been that way. But on top of that, I've always had a little bit of perfectionism in me, because I've always over-planned, over-organised, but chaotically as well. I'm such a weird spike on the colour wheel if you do personality tests. I am like the person that analyses absolutely everything, but is also happy and crazy and vibrant, and like normally an analytical person wouldn't mesh with me. Does that make any sense? No. The person I am doesn't make any sense, but that is who I am. I'm a bit of everything. So if you can imagine, like in me, there's all of this like woo-woo, manifestation, positivity, but then there's always this weird perfectionism. And I'm like, but why? I need the answer to that. I need to know why it works. And then I procrastinate and all the rest of it. So that is me. And what I have come to realise as I've got older, I'm the ripe old age of 34 now, I have come to realise that when I am doing things from positivity, from the law of attraction, from gratitude, from all of this stuff, my energy is always really high. And when I get fixated in perfection or procrastination, my energy is really low. And I used to be a bit more fixated on perfection, and I'm not anymore. You know, I've let those things go, and I've grown into the person that is more kind of free flowing and able to raise my energy regardless of what goes on around me. And I think that's such a good place to be. Like, not to blow my own trumpet, but I absolutely love it, because I can be in a room with, or in fact, I can't really be in a room with people with low energy because it bugs me. But I can still, my point is, I can still raise my energy, and I can still be really protective of my own energy. And it's a little slogan that I love to say, is like, protect your energy, you know? So anyway, I've grown into that kind of person. But this is kind of like what I wish I knew back then. So now I know these type of things, and I love to share it, because I really do wish I knew more about it back then. So if you're listening to this and you're in like the stages of like, maybe don't know much about this kind of law of attraction or gratitude or woo-woo stuff or energy stuff, this is first of all going to help you. But second of all, you need to go and get into it even deeper. Like, I'm not the guru here. I'm just teaching you what I practice from people that teach me, like Francesca Amber or Rhonda Byrne, you know, the books and all, and the podcasts and everything. Anyway, the first thing that I really wish I knew, like years ago, is the fact that when you start in this practice, the receiving starts before the thing arrives. Receiving good and receiving anything has to start before the actual thing that you want arrives. And you wouldn't be aware of it normally, and you wouldn't normally spot the signs if you're not aware that it all gets put into motion and that things start happening and that receiving is going on. You have to be open to receiving all the time before you get the actual thing that you want. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is that when I'm in a state of really needing something, really, really needy, it repels the thing. And instead, because you're probably thinking, well, what do you do instead then? Because I really need that thing. I really need clients, or I really need to increase my prices, and I really need stuff. When you're in that needing energy, it just repels, because you're thinking about that you need it. So what the universe, if you like, or what happens is you continue to need it, because you're getting what you're thinking about. You're getting the need for it. You're not fulfilling it. What actually fulfills it, and what I've seen evidently happening to me when I shift my energy to this, is actually embodying what I want. So instead of thinking that I need things, actually thinking, what can I do now that would embody how I would be when I have it, right? You've probably heard me speaking about this before, or like very, very minimally on other episodes from part one, I think. Because I do sometimes touch on the fact, even in my trainings, that you have to be the person you want to be in your business. Say you want to build a 6-figure beauty business, you need to start showing up as her now. what would she be doing? What would she be acting like? Or he, what would you be doing? Where would you be going? Who would you be going with? How would you carry yourself? What type of things that you would say? What would other people say to you? What would you be buying? What would your week look like? And then when you know all of that, level 10 stuff, like, oh my gosh, life is great, business is great. When you know what's going on at level 10, start implementing some of that into your daily and weekly and monthly rituals now. You need to look at it and think, well, how can I embody that energy now? Because that energy that you can be in, that is actually what attracts the thing that you really want. Okay, so that was like number 2. And the next thing is you actually have to hold that energy consistently. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to practice this energy thing and I'm going to be high vibe and I'm going to be positive and I'm going to think, how can I be that person now? And then it just goes. You have to try and hold on to it, and you have to be consistent, and you have to be grateful for what you have currently. And that is actually super hard sometimes, don't get me wrong, because I'm like, well, why is that the way it is? I want more. I want more. And you'll feel like that too. You'll think, well, it's difficult. It's very difficult to be grateful for my child right now who's having a complete meltdown in the middle of Sainsbury's because I didn't get him the Paw Patrol truck that he wanted because we've already got 6 of them at home. Why? Why is this happening? This isn't what I want. It's very hard to maintain high energy and to embody what I do want, which is calm, which is peace, which is happy. Can we be happy, please? Right? I don't know why I went off on a mum tangent there, but you get my drift. It's difficult sometimes. So you have to think about, right, I need to be grateful for what I've got in this moment right now, and then hold that vibe instead of always letting it go and thinking, oh, but I want more. And the other thing is, when you are grateful for what you have, you get more of that. And it's kind of like, it ties in really nicely to the third one. But when you have the gratitude for everything that you've got now, you'll get more. So what I want you to think about is letting this gratitude thing, this woo-woo stuff, light a fire in you and take it on. And just think, like, imagine what would happen if this is all true, if I'm talking sense and this actually happens, which, by the way, it does. If that does happen, just imagine what could happen if you could stay in this energy. What could happen? You'd probably start making really good decisions for your business. You'd probably start getting really creative ideas as to how you're going to get those 10 clients that you wanted in next month. You're going to know what needs to go out. You're going to know how to speak to them, what language to use. You're going to have epiphany moments where you're like, oh my God, do you know what? Why didn't I think of that before? Why? Because you are grateful for having it now. And you haven't got it yet, but you're grateful for it as if you already have it. That is what you need to do. Get grateful for the things that you have right this second, and get grateful for what you want as if you do have it now. That is the energy that you should be holding. And also in June, inside the 4-Figure Focus membership, we actually did a gratitude challenge because, you've guessed it, I was reading The Magic back in June by Rhonda Byrne, the book, and I was going through the 28-day gratitude challenge myself, and I was like, the girls need to know this. The people in the membership, like, they need to be doing this as well. So I didn't get them on the book, but I actually created a gratitude challenge really plugged into beauty business owners and their businesses, and put that into the portal for June, because we do a focus challenge every month inside the membership. So when people join, if you wanted to join the membership, you would have access to that as well. It doesn't matter when you join. Everyone asks me, will I still be able to see blah, blah, blah? I'm like, yes, you can see absolutely everything in the membership. Everything's in there. So just in case you wanted to get involved in that with what we did, my God, it went down a treat and people were loving it and the results were great. So yes, that's just one thing. But what I want you to also know, and I'm like nearly 15 minutes into this episode, and what I want you to know is that I have specific ways of doing my gratitude practice now, or you could call it a manifestation practice really now, because I am thinking about the things that I want when I do this. And those are things like the daily gratitude that I do. I mentioned it before on that episode when I was talking about habits. is I don't just do gratitude practice like, oh, I'm so grateful today for the fresh air, and then the same tomorrow, and the same, you know what I mean? I don't just quickly write. I know all of these planners these days have got a quick line or a quick 3 lines of what am I grateful for today. I do it deeper than that. It is a deeper daily gratitude practice. I do 10 things that I'm grateful for. I'm not saying you've got to do all 10, but what I am saying is that if you're going to do 3, do it a bit deeper. So I do things like I'm really grateful for something super specific that day, and then I will say thank you for it 3 times. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And try it. I want you to message me on Instagram if you try saying thank you after your gratitude, because the things that it does inside of you, in your brain, in your heart, when you say thank you, it fills you with joy. I want you to try it. It is insane the way that it makes you feel. You can, even if you close your eyes and say thank you for the things that you have, oh my goodness, it deepens it, and it really up levels just the way you feel about it. It's insane. So you do that. I do that for what I have. I do that for like 10 blessings every single morning. It's part of what Rhonda Byrne does in the magic. Then I also say thank you for the things that haven't arrived yet, which is a bit woo-woo. I know. It is a bit woo-woo to say thank you for things that haven't arrived yet. But what I do is I look at my vision board and I think, right, thank you so much for that coming into my world. It might be that it's members, or it might be that it's, I was able to help somebody, completely transform their beauty business, and that it was incredible. Might be that. Thank you for allowing me to do that for that person. It might not have arrived just yet, but I'm thanking the universe anyway, as if it was here. Okay, so that's the second thing I do. I also this sounds like I'm a crazy person, doesn't it? Like talking to myself. You're going to have to message me on Instagram if you think I sound like a crazy person. Please do let me know. I'm going to have to change these episodes up a little bit. But when you do want things, now, I don't just say thank you for the things that haven't happened yet. I also talk about my desires. Like, I talk about things that happen in the business as if they're done. I'm like, that's done. I talk about it as if it's mine, as if it's done. So it might be a monetary goal, okay? And you should do this too. If you want to sound like a crazy person too, do it too. Talking about things as if they're already done puts plans in motion. It moves people. It changes circumstances so that those things do get done. Okay, I don't know if you've ever done vision boards and things like that before, but try it. I do. Sometimes I have done physical ones that I'll look at in the office. There's a vision board so that it's right above my head on a pin board, or I've done ones before that printed out. But I do like to just have them on screensavers on my phone nowadays. Is that what's called? Not called a screensaver. I'm showing my age. It's called a wallpaper, isn't it? Yeah, it's called a wallpaper. I do it on there these days, and because then I think you can easily see it all the time. You've always got your phone on you, and also you can change it up super, super easy. But yeah, so I'll look at those things and do that. I think you should try it. Also, another thing that I'm doing, this is like, say I'm in this practice and I want to manifest certain things. I will make sure that if I'm driving the car, if I'm on a solo run, if I'm not gone with someone, if I'm at the gym, I will always have something about the manifestation practice in my ears, whether it's the Law of Attraction podcast or a book. Maybe it's the Paul McKenna book. His book, Power Manifesting, I'm reading it now. Very good, by the way. You should do it too. Whether it's that in my ears, I will always be plugging into it because I want to be obsessed. I want to think about what I want. I want to always be grateful for what I've got, but be grateful for what's about to come as well. And I want more and more and more. And I love it. It's so expansive. And so, yeah, that's another thing that I will have going on when I'm trying to get into my manifestation practices. And I just try to also trust the process. I know you probably hear things like this all the time, and people will tell you that you are where you need to be in your business journey and that you need to just trust the process. I do that. And, I think if you trust that these things work and these things all work in your favor and that the world is working for you, that saying, what is life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. If you trust that and you're a believer of that, and you try these manifestation techniques and you try these practices and gratitude practices now, you'll be one of them people that knows that this stuff works and that you have to let go of timelines, right? You know that you have to let go. But on top of just letting go, you've also got to do the stuff. You've got to be obsessed. You've got to be thinking about it all the time. You've got to be doing your daily gratitude. You've got to be speaking to people about, but you don't have to actually speak to people about what you want and what your goals are, to be honest, but speaking to yourself as if your desires are already yours, as if what you want is already done. You need to be plugging into books. You need to be thinking about things, and you have to be visualizing these things as if they're already done. You can't just give into physics and be like, yeah, I've got that now, and then not do it again. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I don't want you to think, oh yeah, Zara said just let go of the timelines, trust the magic and crack on. No, what I mean is, in your mind, you are letting go of timelines, but actually physically, you're still doing the stuff. You've still got a bit of a vision board going on. You've still got your goals written down. You're still thinking about them all the time. And you are still grateful and practicing some form of gratitude practice and visualization every single day. That is what I think you should be doing. I actually have real life examples of this, and I think it's so fresh in my mind at the moment, and that's why I'm doing this episode, because I saw one of my friends the other week in London, and we were talking afterwards about attracting things into our lives, and I told her about the Law of Attraction, The Secret, the book, and the Magic, the book. And she was like, has anything actually ever happened to you where you thought, oh my freaking God, I've manifested that? And I was like, yeah. She's like, what? And so I have, of course. There's so many things in my life where I'm like, that happened because I thought about it. Like, I made that happen. There was a time where I really, really needed an appointment urgently at the doctor's. And I think it was like they didn't have anything for like 2 weeks. And I said to my friend, I was like, I am going to go and manifest that I get a cancellation. And literally the same day, I got a phone call and it was a cancellation. And that's how quick some things can manifest. And then I rang the friend and I was like, guess what? And she's like, you've got an appointment. I said, yeah, I've got an appointment. Another thing is, when I started my coaching business, I wrote down a vision, like this is what I want my ideal life to be like in 5 to 6 years' time. And guess what? That's happening. That is literally happening. I said to her, she was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, I wrote down that we would be renovating the house and that we'd be in a lovely detached house, and it was going to be X amount of bedrooms, and I was going to have my bifold doors, my gorgeous kitchen tiles and all the rest of it. And I said, and that's what we're doing now to the house. And she was like, what the heck? And I said, at the time when I wrote down this vision, I was in our first home, which was a terraced house, really lovely. We'd done work to it. And I had no plans of moving. And I didn't think we'd be able to go and get a detached in the next year or two. I had no idea what was going to go on. But it happened. It absolutely happened. And the way it happened was, crazy. It was, a house came up on the market. Well, it didn't go up on the market. We got the phone call to say we're selling our house because unfortunate circumstances. Would you like it? Because it was on the road that we wanted. And so we were like, oh my God, that's really weird. Yeah, let's see if we can do it. And we did it. So that's another thing. Like, these things happen and it's magical. And you're like, what the actual? And then you look back at the vision and you're like, well, I wrote that down with no idea of the how. But I let go of the timeline and I let go of the how. And it just happened. It just freaking happened. What else have I done? Oh, there's another one actually really recently. Do you know what? I've been manifesting recently that I needed someone. I don't know when I'm going to air this episode actually, so I'm hoping that this is still pretty much really recent when I air it. But basically, I needed someone to come in and help me with the business, because if you've known me for a long enough time, you'll know that I'm a one-man band. I've done this on my own for a really long time. And I needed some help with the business. And I was thinking, I want to get to this amount. I want to get to that. I want to do this with the business. Because my youngest child goes to nursery full-time from September 2025. And I just knew that I wanted to ramp things up and I just needed support. I can't do it all by myself. I've only got 24 hours in a day. Well, not even 24 hours, let's be honest. I've only got while the kids are at school. And so I had no idea of the how or the who or the what. I had no idea. I just knew that I wanted to help more women in the beauty industry. I wanted to focus on the membership, but I did also want to go into more of a sort of more intense setting as well and launch something new. I did know that. Anyway, all of a sudden I get an email from one of my friends, and well, it's not a friend, it's a coach that I've worked with years ago when I first started my coaching business. And yeah, that was exactly what was on their mind. And I was like, sorry, you're thinking what I'm thinking? Shall we do this together? It was insane. And I'm thinking, it's manifestation. It works. Like, this gratitude stuff that I practice, it works. I know it's woo-woo, but it works. So when people ask me if I had things that do actually come to fruition, I'm like, yeah, there's loads. And, you know, these opportunities can sometimes surface and sometimes present themselves and feel really risky. Like, not going into the ins and outs of things, but when this email came through, I was like, wow, that's a lot. Like, that is a lot. This person's got big plans. Like, they really want to do certain things. Like, the business could be completely different this time next year. And I was thinking, that's a risk. It's also really freaking exciting. And sometimes you've got to take a risk. And I'm thinking, is this the sign that I needed? Do you know what I mean? And I want you to know as well that sometimes these things will surface themselves and present themselves to you, and they might look like slightly different to what you actually wanted. I mean, this looked perfect. Definitely what I wanted, but still really risky, because I was like, well, this is a big step in my business. But what happens is, things move. It moves people. Your intentions and your gratitude is moving the circumstances around you to align with what you want. Okay? So I know I've been on here for nearly 25 minutes. I just want you to know that you need to embody what you want. You need to be the embodiment of who you're going to be when you've got these things. Okay? Start small. Start really small. Think about your journaling. Think about gratitude and being grateful for what you've got before you've got it, or what you want, before you've got it, and being grateful for everything that you currently do have, because you'll get more to be grateful for. Or think about saying thank you a lot more. That's a really good place to start. Think about just saying thank you. Thank you for that client. Thank you for that review. Thank you for that compliment. Thank you for that conversation when you were in the salon. Thank you for that. Whatever. Thank you for that email. Thank you for that like on social media. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Just thank you for absolutely everything that comes your way, and just see how this energy shifts. I hope all of this makes sense today. Do let me know on Instagram if this is making sense to you. If you if you're a practicer, if that's a word, of this type of thing, do let me know, because I like to connect with people that are a bit woo-woo like me. But yeah, please let me know in the reviews as well. Please like or subscribe or do the thing. I always say that, do the thing. Leave me a review on the poddy, please, because it really does help me get this podcast to more people. And I think what's better than sharing it with more people? You know, they need it. You need it. I need it. Everyone needs it. So yeah, please do that for me. And if you love it and you want to take a screenshot and tag me, I'm at Zara King on Instagram, and I would love to see that you're listening. I always say thank you. So please do that. And yeah, thanks so much for being here today. I will see you on the next one.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights that will help you in your beauty business and life. If you did, please take a screenshot and tag me in your stories. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me on any of my socials. The links are always in the descriptions. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you more and more great content. Until next time, keep building that business.